Hi folks, and welcome to another episode. Behind me you will see our Tesla Model Y. If you're in the market looking to buy a Model Y or a Model 3, today I'm going to show you all the pitfalls, the issues and some of the problems you can look out for, and hopefully it will save you some money. Please remember to check out our other videos and click on the subscribe button and click on the bell icon so you get notifications each time we upload another video. This is a Shanghai built right-hand drive Tesla Model Y. Until I think it was yesterday, all of the right-hand drive Teslas were built in Shanghai. That's now changed. They're now being built in Berlin as well. I don't know if it's just Berlin now and no longer Shanghai, but you will be getting these from two factories. Okay, first point, I'm not going to pretend this was mine. I have not done this in the past, but one of our followers just said, put PPF on the headlights, and that's a very good idea. These are plastic and they will scratch, they will chip, so a bit of PPF there will do you the world of good. Sound a bit rattly, don't they? That's within spec. Also folks, the top DRL just here on the facelift Model S, they are really common for failure. That's no problem. I think if you're pre June 2017, I can't remember the exact date off the top of my head, but you can leave it if you're pre that date. A lot of customers want it doing under warranty, and rightly so, but if you buy a car and you've got this prior to that date, it should be okay. Model X doesn't suffer from it, and the Model 3s and Model Ys are pretty good. Although I have seen a couple of DRLs here flickering. That's normally due to damage on the headlight and water ingress. Okay, first thing, there's going to be quite a bit to this video, but I'm going to try and keep it as short as I can. If you're looking to buy a Tesla Model S, one of the real common problems is this wiper spindle wears, and that allows lift in the arm, and eventually the arm starts scraping the underneath of the bonnet. We probably change, I don't know, maybe 5 to 10 wiper mechanisms a month. We've now got a kit to rebush them. I haven't tried it on a customer's car yet, but we will be doing that. Okay, coming round to the doors, if you've got an early Tesla Model 3, the chromes come off under the doors. You'll cut your fingers open on them, and they can crack up here. This is very common, and the door handles are known for being sticky on the early models. On the later models, I've not seen a problem with these. So all door handles, check them. Okay. The inner door seals. On the early Model 3s, these were literally all falling off. Every single end of warranty inspection we went to, guaranteed these door seals were falling off. Again, the Shanghai built Model 3s, and especially the later ones and the Model Ys, we've not really seen this as a problem. It seems to be one that's been overcome. Okay, moving in here to the check straps. These check straps, these are different to the Model 3, but open and close the driver's door and it will go click, 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 click. That will need replacing. I think they're 125 quid each. You'll get that under warranty. Tesla don't have any problems changing them for you as long as it's within warranty. If you're buying one, ask for them to be changed. The rear doors don't do it. The front doors do. So check that. That's a really common point. Inside, looking at the screen, on the Model S's and the Model X's, we had various problems with the screen. I won't go into the details, but the main one was the yellow border, the delamination. That can be repaired, but I am aware that Tesla have been putting new screens in. Ultimately, I think most people are upgrading to MCU2 because MCU1 had quite a few pitfalls. On some of the earlier models, there was a problem with the steering column having excess movement left to right. And also when you adjust the steering column inwards, like that, that's as far as it goes, you would get some horrendous noises, and occasionally the steering wheel would sort of judder towards you, or when you go back in. That's something else that Tesla will cover under warranty. Nothing to do with the video, folks, but I've put a blind in there, and that makes a massive difference in this weather to the heat of the car. It really keeps the car a lot cooler when you parked it up. Another point to note is, again, not on the Model Y, but on the Model 3, there is a gaiter which goes around the steering column. I've seen those not even in the bulkhead. And when we've come in to do the pollen filters, which are located in this area here, so we have to strip all this undercover off and then remove this panel. We'd take this off and then we'd find water ingress all around the bottom of the carpet. The problem is the carpet has a foam underlay and that would soak up most of it. So you won't get a sloshy kind of feeling, but if you remove this cover, it's difficult to see. I mean, you're not going to notice this unless you really get underneath and press the carpet. If you remove this cover, you could put your hands underneath, squeeze it and physically wring water out. I'll overlay a video of that now, of one that I found previously. Whilst I'm in the footwell, when you do the pollens on the older cars, there's some HV wiring running down here. I'll put a link to doing the pollen filter on an early Model 3. The PTC is there-ish on the Model 3. The problem is it's a bit of a pain to do because you have to cut the element out, slide it out and then rebond the new one in there. Of course, the newer cars have heat pumps, so this isn't too much of a problem. On the Model S and the Model X, they just slide out of the passenger side. The biggest problem for them is replacing the fuse, which is in the HVJB in the front. And if it's a dual motor, that can be a pain. If it's a rear wheel drive, it's not too bad. But the heat pumps seem to be pretty reliable. The octo valve is fantastic. It works really well. Never any heat problems. But just bear that in mind. If you need a PTC, it's being cut out of there. The wiring then goes through the front, through the bulkhead, and then down to the traction battery. So that can be a little bit fiddly and it's not cheap. So looking underneath the seats, this is a little bit more of a rare problem. I've seen maybe 3 or 4 of these. Occasionally when you adjust the seats, the motors would judder, they would skip, and you would get all sorts of random noises. Again, not really something we've seen on the Model Y or the later Model 3s, just on the earlier Fremont built stuff. So the sort of early 2019 models, the model we had, in fact. In the rear, these USBs, we've not had any problems with these, but the Model S and the Model X and the early Model 3s, they had problems with those not working, pushing through. So that's one to watch out for. Okay, this is an important one, folks. In the boot, loads of leakage problems on the early Model 3s from Fremont. Not so much from Shanghai, but a lot of the problems were caused by the rain running down here. And on the back of the lens, there's a gaiter. They would leak through the lens, down the inside here, and then into the well underneath. And the first you'd know about it was you'd pull your little cover up from underneath and that would be soaking wet. That was a common problem. Again, it seems to have been ironed out on the later models. Certainly not something we've seen on the Model Ys. If I come up to the tailgate, we had this problem ourselves. The tailgates were filling with water. On the Model 3s, there's this little bung here. It's slightly different. You can remove that and the rain and the water would just fly out. That was quite a big problem. I think one of the issues was somewhere here on the seam of the boot. There was a point where it could get in. We actually ended up fixing it ourselves by squirting some silicone up into the top corner, and that sorted it. Obviously on the Model 3, the boot lid ends about here because it's a saloon, not a hatchback. Again, this might be a little bit tricky for you because it's all sort of covered up. Ignoring the fact that we've got a power front fitted, there's some extra gubbins here. On the early Model S's, there is 2 latches here. These are prone to seizing, well, one of them especially, because they never get lubricated. That's a really common problem, and the front won't shut. There's also if you came down here on the early Model S, there's a little motor, and they're quite common for failing. They're not expensive and they're really easy to fit. You can fit one in about 20 minutes. However, these earth points, these are really common for rusting. Again, on the really early models, you'll see these and they'll be in absolutely diabolical states. There's a couple here, you can see them ones are starting to rust. Earth points do rust, folks. So get some treatment on that. In fact, I'm going to do it now. What a mess. Went a bit over the top with that, but all that is battery terminal protector. That will stop any further corrosion. On the early Model 3s, this has got a lithium ion 16 volt battery under here. On the early Model 3s, for some reason the negative terminals were always fairing up. They were really quite bad. You can see that on the Model 3 because there's no HEPA, and that's another one to watch out for. Again, Tesla are pretty good. They'll do that under warranty. They'll put you a new terminal on, and they'll probably chuck a new 12 volt in for you as well. And you 100% want to be looking in here at this. This is the lowest steering column UJ. That needs greasing. They're another common failure point, causing notchy steering. Again, not so much on the Model 3 and the Model Y, but definitely on the Model S and the Model X. A lot of Tesla owners watching this will be able to relate to this problem. When you're looking down at the shafts, depending on how you're looking at them, you want to be looking for leaks. Again, the Model Y and the Model 3s, not that common, but the Model S rears on the early models, that is common. Also, if you're going to test drive the vehicle, get your foot down, because these are prone to vibration caused by excess wear on their inner CV joints. You'll definitely feel this if you give it the beans. The reality is, all these problems aren't the biggest problems that you get with Teslas. It's more or less all suspension. Oh, sorry about that. It's more or less all suspension. Now, I've not even jacked this car up. It's done about 14,000. So I'm going to do that now. I'm just going to do one side. They're pretty much, if it's worn one side, it's worn the other. But there are a few problems that we have found on the Ys and 3s, probably more so on the Ys. So I'm going to give you a quick heads up on those now. Okay, suspension. But before I do that, these wheel arch trims, they are not uncommon for popping off. Not so much on the Model Ys, but definitely on the Model X's. Forever popping out, deforming. I think actually they heat up too much because of the blackness, and then actually you end up with these bulges here. And we get a lot of customers asking to have these put back on. The only real fix is to get a new piece. It's like they've deformed. Anyway, tyre wear. This is common. Okay, uneven. You'll get uneven tyre wear on the inside edge, and that'll be down to the camber being out, and that is generally caused by this. That inner bush there, I'll overlay a picture now. That's the inner camber arm bush. They split and they allow the camber arm to wander around, and that causes uneven tyre wear. Coil springs, pretty good. You'll see the odd spring break on the really old S's, but actually I prefer coil over air. Air suspension struts are a really common problem, always leaking. We replace lots of them at the roadside. Come around here and you can see this. Now, we've not had any problems personally, but a lot of Model 3 owners have had these top arms replaced under warranty. You can't change the ball joint, it's made into the arm. These ball joints, when Tesla put them in, they filled them with what I can only call Pritt stick. It's awful stuff. It's really not right for this type of joint. And we're forever stripping these, cleaning them out and re-greasing them. We actually put wheel bearing grease that goes into, any of you out there might know what an ROR trailer axle is. We use wheel bearing grease that they recommend for their trailers because it is good stuff. I've never had a customer come back and say my ball joints are squeaking again after doing that. So that's one to look out for. Okay, a quick pull down here. Okay, a quick tug down here. This will show you any play in the ball joint, and it will show you any play in the lower ball joint or the lower shock bush. These are quite common. I appreciate that you're not going to be doing this when you're looking at a car. I'm just trying to show you the common faults. If you've got play, it can be here, here on the lower shock bush, or the lower ball joint. We're seeing quite a few of these on the high mileage Model 3s, 100,000 plus. But again, they're an inexpensive arm and they can be replaced roadside, no problems at all. Something that is really important. Now, if you look through there, you'll see that this caliper is very similar to the caliper that goes on the performance Model 3s. And that is because they have done away with the pins that go through there. The pins are stainless, the caliper's aluminium, and they seize in. We have horrendous trouble, we really do. All our guys carry 2 sets of these pins now because we've been caught out on numerous occasions. It's good to see that Tesla have addressed this, and that means actually, if you look at the state of the discs are fine, there's no corrosion, and if I could just go through the wheel, you'll see the pads, they're like brand new. But these are a really common failure point on the Model S, the Model X and the Model 3 early models. The Performance Model 3, not so much. But the Model Y, it's good to see that's been addressed, but definitely one to look out for. If you're going to buy a car, ask if this has been done, because it can run into hundreds of pounds to get it sorted. Okay, I'm going to jump to the back and have a look at the rear suspension. I always start on the near side on a right-hand drive car, and that's because the near side, it gets the hardest wear. This side is in the gutter. We only go round roundabouts one way, so this wheel gets the hardest life, followed by the other wheel, then that wheel, then the other wheel. So near side front, offside front, near side rear, offside rear, in that order for a right-hand drive car. Okay folks, this is where you're going to save your money. I hope you can see this, and I hope you can hear it. I don't know if you'll be able to see that with my hands jiggling. So the problem here is this joint, this bush. Tesla call this the near side rear upper knuckle joint. What they'll do is they'll replace this whole arm, the pin and the whole hub assembly all the way down there. Complete waste of money. The good news is this is really common, especially on the Model Ys. A bit embarrassing that it's on mine at 14,000 miles, but so be it. I'm aware of it, and I'll definitely have this done before it gets to the end of its warranty. Nothing's going to fall off, folks. It's not dangerous, and you won't feel it in the car and you won't hear it. But we can, we don't replace the arm or the pin. All we do is we undo this bolt, lift it out the way, remove this rear caliper. We get a puller, we pull the old bush out, put a new one in. It's about 110 quid, 120 quid a side plus VAT. So it's not expensive. So common problem, one to look out for, and it will cost you if you go to Tesla out of warranty. Okay. These arms, we don't have any problems with. These links, we don't have any problems with leakage on the rear shafts. If I can just get down there and look. We don't have any problems with the drive shafts really. And to be honest, we don't have any problems with the wheel bearings. But this particular arm, we do have problems with. So what happens is this debonds, this slides down and it starts fouling against the framework of the rear subframe. I'll overlay a picture now of one that I looked at. This is a Model 3 that I looked at earlier this week, and it had a lot of issues. So that's another one to be aware of. However, it's only really on the high mileage cars. All right, I'm going to pop the wheel back on, but from the rear, the brakes, we don't really have problems with those. Just keep them lubricated because they can seize through lack of use. So every couple of years, get them pulled out, pads greased and put back in. A little bit of grease around the spigot here, but this arm and this knuckle joint, they're really common. Springs, shocks, shafts, everything else, all good. One thing that I should have added here, folks, is when that pin wears and you get that bit of movement, it ultimately alters the position of the wheel. So as you go around a corner and it leans this way, it takes up the play, and then when you go around the other corner and the torque changes, it goes the other way. That can lead to uneven tyre wear and is a common problem. The other link arm, that will definitely lead to uneven tyre wear. At the moment, my tyre wear is okay, so I'm happy, but as I said, I'll be looking to get that addressed. Okay, folks, so from our perspective, most of you know that we spend our days fixing these. About 70% of our work is Tesla. They keep us very busy, and you may not get any of these problems, but you may get some of them. You may get multiple. That rear pin on the early Tesla Model 3s, the Fremont built models, didn't wear as quickly as it does on the later models. So I think Tesla have cheaped out on that top bush, saved a few quid, and ultimately they're spending a few more quid getting them fixed than the warranty. They're very common, so be aware of those. I'm sure some of you will be going out now jacking up your Model 3s and Model Ys and checking those. Check it with the handbrake on. If the wheel spins, it's very difficult to feel the play. Another point to note here, folks, is that there, that's my Workman. It's done 122,500 miles and it's wanted for nothing. I'm pro Tesla, I am. I own one because I love them. I think they're great cars. But that there was 24 grand, 122k, 2 years and 5 months old, and it's wanted for nothing. So just bear that in mind. There's an element of quality in these Chinese cars. I know that's built in China as well, but that is bloody fantastic. But there's no getting away from the fact that that has more issues than that, in my experience. Anyway, I'm not here to slate the car. I'm here to help you save some money and hopefully find some problems that you might have with your cars going forward and get them repaired under warranty, or problems that you might have on a car before you buy it. That's it from me. I hope this has helped you, or it does help you in the future. If it does, or you can relate to any of the problems that I've brought up here, please drop a comment in the comment section below. Please also hit the like button, or thump the like button, or hit the like button, whatever you want to call it. And please subscribe and share, and that'd be amazing. And we'll see you soon in another episode. So bye for now.